Wow. Hamatakiapi, Crystal Norcross, Machiapi, Shukmani Tuan, we demie, Sisituan Kawakpetuan Himataha, Emniza Sky Edwati. Hi, relatives. My name is Crystal Norcross, and we're coming live to you on Facebook Live. We're going to be talking about the Dakota 38+2. We have artists, as you heard, our wonderful singers today. Mr. RedWing Thomas and Strong Buffalo. So I'd like to open up a little bit about Oyate Hotanin. Oyate Hotanin means voice of the people. And it's a Dakota word. And we're a 501c3 located in St. Paul, Minneapolis area. We do a lot of nonprofit work. We work with American Indian artists. We do a lot of work, we have something called the Indigenous Estate, which I'm going to be showing you a video here shortly about. We do the Buffalo Show, which features Strong Buffalo. We promote American Indian artists and causes, social justice causes. So I'm going to be sharing my screen here with a short video, and then after that we'll have Mr. RedWing Thomas do some of his talks. So thank you for being here today, you guys, too. Thank you for singing. We really appreciate that here at Oyate Hotanin. So I'm going to screen share.
àdduna ñu ngi woo képp ku nekk fépp ñu ngi ñaan seen dégg-dégg ngeen doon benn wala ngeen doon fukk yéen ñëpp mbokk gëm leen ne àdduna benn bés la waxtu lu néew la loo war a def ko tey yow bul xaar na nga fonk sa naaj kër sa life xam sa bopp xëppi say âge gëm sa bopp ubbi sa bopp gëm sa nopp xam sa bopp koppi sa bopp yokk sa bopp Devil West na yoonu tey gis nga bu la bekk pat la fan la gëm la xam nga àdduna kese bis kese gëm bomb kese bis kese rap ni la one people one God say yàlla mënul wax beneen yàlla du wax li ñuy teg lii la bu ñu taxaw walk up jóge gaal seen teewal gis nga ni la nañu booloo jokko mooy ku ñu xaati booloo teewal beneen web xaati ku ñu musa tayi gis nga ni la up ñu jóg jom gis nga tege lii du ñu taxaw lii la beneen flow la ñuy booy bokk àdduna benn la gaal seen Europe America nañu teewal suñu side way suñu waay
And so that was a video that Oyate Hotanin always brings up when we talk about the work that we do. So everything that we do is embedded all the way back into basically the start of Scaffold. So if you want any more information, we have a Facebook page. Look up Oyate Hotanin. And we also have a website, oyatehotanin.org. But we're going to let RedWing talk about the historical events that happened on this day. So RedWing Thomas is the res dude from Isanti, Nebraska. Thank you for being here today.
Yo, thank you guys very much for, allowing me to be a part of this very beautiful programming this evening. And Crystal got it right. I'm a res dude from Isanti Makoche here in Isanti, Nebraska, lands of the exiled Dakota. And, I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But before we get into everything, we all understand that this day is a very heavy day. It's a tragic day. And at the same time, it's also a very honorable day. And us as Dakota people, we use hardship as fuel and as motivation and inspiration to go stronger and to go harder, into the future, because we have to go into the future. We have to. But before we get into all of that, we have a very special song we want to share with you. I have two of my sons with me. I have a nephew with me. We're going to sing a song about the Minnesota War of 1862. And this song comes from here in Isanti land. And it's used, anytime the 38 are talked about. And we're going to sing that song first. And then I'm going to get into sharing some words and things like that. Sinä. Ohede mitaki api de kupahu dutta maki api. Ohekta makshi da he han. De no shungmani tuska he chashmat kumpero. When I was a child, they named me Shungmani Tuska. And a lot of people don't know that. This is one of the first times I'm sharing that. Other than that, they know me as Kupahu Duta, RedWing. And I come from Isanti Makoche de Hobu Wakbada Eton. I come from a place here in Isanti, Nebraska called Hobu Creek. And that's a place that has its own history and its own story, but tonight is not about that. But I just wanted to give a little bit of background of who I am and where I'm from. I grew up here in the Isanti, and over the course of my lifetime here, I have been very fortunate to learn about our identity, who we are as Dakota people. We are the Dakota, therefore. We're very strong people, every single one of us. And, on this special day, all over Dakota country, well, you know what? Let's go bigger than that. All over the lands of the Ocheti Shakoni people, the 7 Council Fire people. It's a very special time, and it has nothing to do with the Washichu holidays. This special time that is going on is the honoring and remembrance and the memorials of our ancestor people, our warrior ancestor people. And it always seems like the winter months are a very heavy time for our people. And me personally, my thought on that is because most of the atrocities that have taken place against our people have happened in the winter times. And these months of December and January are especially heavy. For us as the Dakota of the Ocheti Shakoni, our 38 plus 2 ancestors who were hanged in Makato, Minnesota, 1862. Well, that is a heavy thing. And it's an emotional time, and it's an emotional day for all our people. And, with the pandemic recently in the world, it has, I don't want to say stopped us. It has put some unfortunate restrictions on the way we gather. But nonetheless, nothing's going to stop us. And I think history has proven that. Yeah, we've been through some hard times, but nothing has ultimately stopped us. And I don't think we can allow anything to stop us. Well, that's just the way I believe. But nonetheless, our 38 warrior ancestors, and they were hanged in Makato. And, I teach Dakota language and Dakota Wichokan at the community school down here on the reservation, the Isanti Community School. And the high school students just put out their own documentary about their warrior ancestors, our warrior ancestors, right? And it's a really beautiful thing. And in that documentary, instead of using what has happened to, it's a touchy subject. I don't know how to word this, mitakuyapi. But a lot of our people, we feel heavy at this time. But instead, I encourage everybody to lift your head up, to be very proud of who you are and where you come from, and to use those tragedies in history to push us, to motivate us, to do all we can in honor of our ancestor warriors, our warrior ancestors, and every single one of them are beautiful, and we are in debt to them for the rest of our lives. The story that would be told down here in Isanti land. I have a great grandmother. Her name was Tatiopa Washtewing, and her English name was Lucy Lulu RedWing Tuttle. And she was born in 1886. And my great grandmother would share stories with our family, you see, because she lived until 1986. And she would share direct accounts, direct narratives, direct stories to my mother. My mother would share them to us, and our people are so resilient for the things they faced and the things they've gone through. Now, all over Ocheti Shakoni country, our people are having a hard time. But I don't think they're as hard as it was for our ancestors. And we need to remember that. We are a people who don't, it's not our culture to complain and baby ourselves. Instead, we strengthen ourselves. We strengthen ourselves. Strengthen ourselves, and we walk into the future, right? And we're going to use all those things our ancestors did for us, because that war in Minnesota, 1862, that war was on our behalf, every bit of it. And, I don't want to go too much into everything about the war, because I'm pretty sure that the majority of our people know about it. I'm pretty sure. You know, we have major memorial horse rides that, you know, go to Makato every year. Down here in Isanti, Nebraska, there's an annual memorial that they do every year. Somewhere out there in Dakota country, there's a lone man who prays by himself in solitude every year. You know, I think it's safe to say that all over our country, all over our lands, our people are doing something on this day to remember those beautiful warrior ancestors. You know, and I've been thinking about them all day long, all day yesterday, the day before, while people are scurrying to get their Christmas presents and put up their Christmas lights and get Christmas tree. You know, I've been thinking of our ancestors, what they must have been going through. You know, because during Christmas time, this time that is supposed to be so special to the Washitu people, so special, where they give gifts and love and compassion and all this stuff that they say this holiday is about. Our ancestors were sitting in prison, cold, shackled, unsure of what was going to happen to them. You know, so those are the thoughts that were sitting in my mind. As a young man, those kinds of thoughts would anger me. And those kinds of thoughts would, well, that's the word. It would anger me. But today, thinking about that, thinking about what those ancestors must have gone through, it doesn't anger me no more. It motivates me. And I hope it motivates you too, Mitaku Epi. You see, because we have a lot of work to do in our hometowns, on our reservations, wherever it is we live. We have a lot of work to do. We have to learn our language. We have to make sure those younger generations coming and growing up, that they know who they are, that they know their history, their identity, and that they're proud of it. You see, because that's what that war was. It was to make sure we stay proud. They fought because they're proud. They fought because they loved who they were and they loved their people. See? So we are in debt to our ancestors. And this evening, I'm going to be reading the names of those 38 plus 2 Dakota warrior ancestors. But before I do, you know, coming from here in Isanti land, you know, this special day of remembering our ancestors, I'm very proud to be a part of this program because I'm in a place where our ancestors were exiled to the hills of Isanti Makoche, here in the northeast corner of Nebraska, right? We all know the stories, how they shipped them to Davenport, Iowa, and then over to Crow Creek, South Dakota. They lasted a year or two over there, then they moved us again, and this time they walked us 166 miles from Crow Creek, South Dakota to Isanti, Nebraska. And today we're located right on the Missouri River. And, you know, these are the kinds of things that I share with the students at the school. To be very proud of that. Some years back, I was telling a high school student, this was years ago, maybe 10 or 11 years ago. I was telling a high school student, I said, you know, our ancestors fought for us to have a chance, I said. For us to live and be who we are, right? Raised his hand. I said, yeah. And he looks at me and very sincerely and very seriously, he says, some chance they left us. You know, he was upset and he was young, right? He's a child. He was young, he was upset. And what he was talking about was the conditions on the reservation. Alcohol abuse, drug abuse, constant tearing each other down, constant finding what's wrong and beating each other up over it. He was talking about all of that, right? He goes, some chance that they left us. You know, I listened, I tried to sympathize as best as I could with him. And then I looked him dead in his eye and I said, yeah, but you still have a chance. Might not be the best circumstances, but you do have a chance. And with that chance, you have two choices. Do it or don't do it, right? Find something that's wrong and complain about it, or find what's right and build on it, right? My kunshi used to tell me something. She used to say, Takoja, If you're not proud of where you come from, you must be looking at the wrong thing. She said that to me one time. And so, you know, thinking of all these thoughts, you know, this day, December 26th, brings thousands and thousands of thoughts to each and every one of us. And all those thoughts are valid. All those beliefs and teachings are valid. And it's a very emotional day. It's a roller coaster of emotion on this day for all our people. You know, and I want all our people out there to know that we are beautiful. We are strong. We're flawed. We're human. Every single one of us are flawed. We have something that we can always get better at, right? Especially me. I'm a super flawed guy. Got all kinds of problems. But nonetheless, we come from great, great warrior ancestor people. So I can focus on those flaws, or I can focus on those things to build each other up and build ourselves up and make a change with this chance that our ancestors gave us, right? So mitakiape, for those who are unaware of the events of 1862, I'm not going to sit here and tell you about them, because you have the ability to teach yourself about it. You have Google, you have a phone, you have all kinds of resources at your fingertips. I encourage you to go look into it, to do your research, find those facts, because the facts are there. You do the research yourself, it's going to stick with you longer rather than me just telling you about it. And those who do know about it, thank you for knowing. And please pass that history on to anyone younger than you. Do it in a good way. Pass it on to them, strengthen them. Let them know that them ancestor warriors were thinking of us, so we could have a chance. And now here's our chance. And I sure hope we're thinking of those who are coming behind us. So mitakiape, those 38 Dakota warrior ancestors, I'm going to read their names. And these names, you know, I get emotional when I read these names out. And as is in fashion of our people, every time these names are read, the drum will sound. Kabubupta. They're going to sound, they're going to hit the drum. Our people believe that every time that drum hits, that sound resonates into the next world, and it echoes someplace in eternity over there. And that when it does that, all those ancestors who are over there, because every single one of us have loved ones over there, every single one of us have ancestors over there, our people believe that when they hear that drum resonate over there somewhere, that they stop and they look to see what we're doing. So that drum is going to hit every time a name is read. And then we're going to sing a very special song. And this song, I have to explain it before we sing it. This song was composed by Mr. Kalon Strickland of the Mazakute Singers. Some years ago in the 80s, you know, they are the forever host drum at the Makato celebration. And some years ago at that celebration in the 80s, Kalon, you know, what's ironic about this is Kalon and I were just visiting about 2 or 3 days ago. I was over at his house and we're having chundi and drinking Diet Coke. He's a Diet Coke man. And we were over there and we were visiting about this very song, you know, and at that time, I didn't know that we were going to do this yet. But he shared with me that at that time, at that celebration, he said he was looking around at things. He said the geese were flying over and eagles were flying over, you know, because anyone who goes to the Makato celebration, you know that there's a lot of eagles there. It's a special place, huh? And he was saying, you know, it's kind of cold out. And he was talking with some of the older men, the Wichakshara, over there at the celebration. And he was asking if there was an honor song for these 38 warriors. None that they knew of, they said. So Kalon said he wrote down what he wanted the song to say. He said he sat there and thought for a while on what our ancestors would say to us. And then he wrote it down and he gave it to someone there and they helped translate that song into Dakota. And Kalon and the Mazakute Singers put that song together that is now known as the Mankato song, the Makato song, the 38 Dakota song, right? So that song is going to be sung tonight, Mitakuyepi, right after we get done reading these names. And I'm going to sign off so that I'm trying to get all the information to you. Today is a day of remembrance for our ancestors, for our people. It's a sad day, it's a heavy day, but it's also a day of victory. It is also a day of honor, because that's who we are as Dakota people. We come from an honor culture. My mother says that all the time. We come from an honor culture full of dignity and integrity. I mean, those 38 Dakota going up to the gallows, the stories they say, the history that they share today, is that those men were so full of integrity and dignity, they shook the hands of their executioner. Imagine that. Imagine doing that. Shaking hands with the executioner, Mr. William Dooley. That was his name, by the way. They shook hands. The rope was cut. And our ancestors honorably went to the next world on behalf of us. Wow, that's an amazing thing. Sad, emotional, tragic, yes, but also very honorable. Full of strength and pride. We got to make sure we never drop that strength and pride, never. And like I was saying, yes, we are flawed human beings, every single one of us. But again, the chance our ancestors gave us. What you're going to do, you have two choices. Do it or don't do it. I encourage you, but they hate you. That we go into the future as strong and as best as we can with each other. And this song that we're going to sing, that Mr. Kalon Strickland composed and the Mazakute singers put together, that song is going to encourage all of us to do that. So at this time, Mitakuepi, the names of our beloved 38 plus 2 Dakota warriors hanged in Makato, 1862. Tihado Nicha, Duta, Oyate Tawa, Hihan Shunkoyagmani, Maza Bobadu, Wachpe Duta, Wahina, Sna Mani, Khada Ianka, Dwasa, Hepon, Shunkaska, Tunka Ichahadamani, Ite Duta, Kabadecha, Hepida, Mahpia Oinajin, Henry Milford, Chaskeda, Baptiste Campbell, Tate Kaga, He Inkpa, Hypalai Henri, Napeshni, Wakant Kanka, Tunka Koyabanajin, Makata Inajin, Mazakute Mani, Tate Hadida, Washichu, Aichaka, Hokainku, Cheta Hunku, Chankahada, Hade, Oyate Aku, Mahiwe, Wakiana, Shakpeda, Wakan Ojanja.
Wekchemana Yamanisa Shahanoga Wayaka Yamanesa Shahanoga Wayaka Yamanesa Shahanoga Wayaka Wekchemana Yamanesa Shahanoga Wayaka
Ohedo Mitakuyapi. Coming to you from Isanti Makoche, lands of the exile, Dakota, where they put our ancestors. I encourage each and every one of my people, Dakota, Lakota, Nakota, Ocheti, Shakoy, Oyate, Bedehech, Yapo, in these heavy times, in these heavy winter months, hold your heads high, do as best as you can, help each other, push each other, make sure we all move forward. And with that, I beg you, stay proud, be proud, and live proud. Ohedo, dosta ke de kupal huduta miedo, and in the words of my ukana, Henawoy chaki gahechi tudo.
Thank you, Mr. RedWing Thomas, and those over in who sang for us today, who are his sons. So once again, Crystal Norcross Makiapi, Shunkmani Tuwanwi Demie, Sisi Tuwanka Wakpet Tuwan, and Mataha, and Miniza Scott Edwati. So my name is Crystal Norcross, and I'm with Oyate Hotanin, which means Voice of the People. And our organization started this work because of our ancestors. And so today we wanted to remember, to have a Wokiksuye, to remember our relatives. Even though this day is about remembering, we'd also want to talk about the resilience of our people. This morning, I had a conversation with my daughter about being a good relative. You know, all the atrocities that had happened to us, we talked about being a good relative. I tell this to my kids on a daily about being a good relative and what it means to be Dakota. And I have them tell them every day, say, Damakota, Damakota, I am Dakota. And so the words that I had heard, that I had read was, you know, from this tragic day, you know, women and children were crying when they started lining these men up to hang. The words were, do not mourn us, for we are going home with honor. And that always gets me. This is a heavy emotional day. You know, how do we explain this to our children? You know, this feeling that they have, and whatnot. And so, you know, reading that just brings a piece over to me, and I'm glad to be a parent to be able to know this information and talk to my kids about it. Now there's a very good movie that I watched that has a lot to do with the ride and in a historical context, things that are happening to Dakota 38, and you can get that on YouTube. It's free. They wanted people to know this information. But I'm gonna play a little clip of it. It's very emotional. I'm gonna let you guys know that it's a trigger warning. But I feel like it'll kind of flow with our next artist. His name is Strong Buffalo, and he is our host of our show Buffalo Show at Oyate Hotanin. So I'm gonna play this piece, and then we'll have Tom come out. But thank you so much for coming and remembering and honoring our ancestors and being who we are today as Dakota people. So RedWing talked about how this land was where he's at is the exiled Dakota. Well, I'm a Dakota living in Amnesia, Scott, and the law is still on the books saying that, that the Dakota people are exiled from here. And where I'm at, Amnesia, Scott, is the White Cliffs, and this is the burial grounds of our people, just blocks away from where we live. And have to talk to my kids about that and protect that land as well. And so, everywhere I walk here on the east side, there was a village here. And I tell my kids about that. This is our land. This is where we pray. And remember, Damakota ye. We are Dakota. So here's the video that I'm going to share. Trigger warning once again. But please watch, and then we'll introduce our next artist.
They were shackled and chained together and hoods on them. The women began wailing and weeping. One of the prisoners in a loud voice said, "Hear me, my people. Today is not a day of defeat. It's a day of victory. For we have made our peace with our Creator. We now go to be with Him forever. Remember this day to tell our children so they can tell their children that we are people who died a noble death. Do not mourn for us. Rejoice with us. It's a good day to God." And then he lifted up his voice and began singing.
So that's a very hard scene to watch. Brings so many emotions forward. And this is a day of remembrance. Wokiksuye. We remember our relatives today. It's so hard to talk about this and in a good way, without being emotional. But it has an impact because everything that led it from there till now, impacted our lives. And this was 4 generations ago. you know, my great grandma went through this. It wasn't so long ago, it was a blink of an eye. But I can tell you that they had us in mind. They prayed for us and they prayed for us to live a good way. So once again, I want to go back to the resilience part of this. We're thriving, we're still here. I'm an exiled Dakota on in Minnesota, still in the law books. I'm still here. We are still here. So with that, I want to introduce our next guest, Mr. Tom LeBlanc or Strong Buffalo from Oyate Hotanin. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you. It's called 38 plus 2 in me. It's December 26th again. That memory returns again. That sad feeling of loss appears again. It doesn't ever leave. It just comes out more vivid. That image of all of them hanging, singing their death songs, of that disregard of not being respected for being the defenders of our world. It is in the pulse of the heartbeat of being Dakota. For it's not only a matter of blood, it's in the spirit that radiates naturally, where agony weds the joy inside of the exterior world of modern times. From way back from the beginning, whole or mixed, old or young, well or sick. Listen to the words of this pitiful old one. It is in the silence. It is buried deep in the land of earth's soil. So strong it will always blow in the winds of adaptation that we cannot sell, give away, fake, or let go. It is that what makes us Dakota. Think of that magic given by the Creator who put us here, and it's still within. We must nurture it in hard times and in good times, in all times, the soft and tender parts, the parts that hide, the parts that deny. We must promise ourselves and each other, for all those who have died and for all those yet to be, that we will extend our hands to each other, that we will honor Dakota to all that has happened, for all our homeland, for all our ways, even if we are lost or alone, damaged or denied. That will grow and take care of each other. Raise your family to always love our ways of being and be Dakota. Even of those who don't know who or those who follow, they may be as those before or those after us. Dakota is in our blood, flesh and spirit. It shall exist in our souls. It shall always be in our blood. Shed, hung, or shared. It is in the time we live. It is in the times we die. It is in the land. It is in all of us alive. It's in the water we drink. It is in us all. The 38 plus 2 and me. Every step taken, every day alive, every life taken, every death alive. We sing that song, the message of then and now. 38 plus me, my Dakota. I am Dakota.
So with that, I want to say, love each other. Love Unshi Maka. Take care of one another. Be a good relative. I want to thank Oyate Hotanin for putting this on. The Wokiksuye of the Dakota 38 plus 2. We remember them and remember to live a good way and to be a good neighbor, to be a good relative, whatever that means. To us, that means being Dakota. Damakota ye. Dokshake wachiankinkte. Thank you for tuning in, and be sure to subscribe to the Oyate Hotanin page for more talks. Please share with your relatives. Thank you, Mr. RedWing Thomas and his children for joining us today. Thank you, Strong Buffalo, for your words. And thank you for joining us. So, Laura, if you can sign us off. Once again, everybody, have a great night. Doksha ke wachiankinkte.